Hi guys, and welcome back to Tangy Tea of Life. I'm your host Veronica. This is my co-host Brittany back with us, and we have a special guest going to sip some tea with us tonight, Miss Debbie Waddell. Did I say that right?
Waddell.
Waddell. Debbie Waddell. Welcome to the table.
Thank you.
So glad to have you here. Very special edition of Tangy Tea of Life tonight. Guys, we are talking about raising black kids in a white home. Yes. So Miss Debbie is going to tell us all about what she's been through, what she's going through now, and all of the tea about raising black kids in a white home. And it got to be difficult.
Very.
Let me say that.
Understatement.
Very.
Especially these days. Like, I know it had to be, rough back, when you first brought them into the world and stuff, but I mean, people say that racism is dead. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
At all.
It's more alive today than I believe it was back when I was raising my children.
Mm-hmm.
Things are more prevalent today with the grandkids, more so than they were
when you was raising your kids.
Right. And you would think that things would be progressing, moving forward, not going backwards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's just not the case.
So tell us, Miss Debbie, about the time. Well, you can start from the beginning if you want. How did you get these black kids?
My little black kids. So, I'm from Augusta, Georgia. And I actually married my high school sweetheart against my family's wishes. However, when I started dating my husband, I was a freshman, he was a senior, and I was a little rebellious, always went against the grain, stepped out a little bit, tested the waters, and we met, of course, fell in love, and I ended up pregnant, in high school, pregnant. My father and I had a deep conversation. Of course, it didn't look right to the community. However, he did teach us you love everyone, regardless of color, regardless of, you find good in everyone. Everyone has good in them,
right,
regardless of color, whatever. Everybody, you have good people and you have bad people. So it's, you go off character was the number one thing, not off skin. So when we started dating, he had a conversation with my first husband, basically asked what his intentions were. My husband told him, my boyfriend at the time, told him that, he loved me and wanted to get married. So that was all well and fine. They had their conversations and it went on from there. I was a rebellious child, so I ran away a lot because I was brought up in a very strict home environment. So he would always be the one to call my parents and say, he finally just had a conversation and said, hey, why don't you let her live with me so you know she's safe. So I started living with him. I got pregnant. My mom and dad, me and my mom didn't get along at all at that time. And she told me, well, I jumped ahead a little bit. When I got pregnant, we weren't living together. She told me that if I leave, not to come back.
Was it because you was with a black guy, or was it just because you was?
Basically, because I was with a black guy, because I got pregnant, and I was a teenager, I was rebellious. It was a little bit of everything.
Some of
in
everything.
One. Yeah. And those words haunted me. And I said, I'm the type of person, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to bust hell wide open to do it. So I was determined I was going to make it work, no matter what. So we got married, had kids. We actually ended up having 5 children, and our last 2 sons passed away. Both of them had what's called polycystic kidney disease and needed a kidney and liver transplant. During the time, I was staying at the hospital all day with my oldest son. He was almost 2, and I was pregnant with the other child, the other son. And so I would have to find a babysitter for the other 3 kids because my husband worked while I sat at the hospital, and then I'd have to leave my baby at the hospital and come home and be mommy. During that time, every time I talked to him about the baby, he would tell me if it's not good news, he didn't want to hear anything at all.
Your husband at the time?
Yeah. He didn't want to hear anything at all. So I felt like I was on that journey by myself.
Right.
Then I found out that we were pregnant again, which was a shock. We weren't ready. We had enough, and we had so many other things going on. We didn't have time for this.
Right. Okay, so let me stop you right there. So your 2-year-old was in the hospital, and the baby that you just...
I was still pregnant.
Oh, you were still pregnant.
Still pregnant.
Okay.
So going through that, the hospital told me that Justin had 72 hours to live. So I had to call my husband. During that process of trying to locate my husband, who was supposed to be at work, he was stepping out with another chick. And of course I had the pressure of, you're never here.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm taking care of our kids. So Justin died. My husband was there for me through that final process like he had never been before. So I was like, we're making progress. Okay. So we buried our son, only to find out 2 weeks later that our unborn son, we ended up going into premature labor from the stress of bearing our first son. Went into premature labor. That baby lived 4 hours, which was another boy. We named him Dustin. He was not there for me at the hospital through that. I almost lost my life during the process. However, my parents were there for me, and my mother held that baby. That baby was supposed to be born dead, and my mom held the baby. He lived 4 hours.
Wow.
So we buried 2 kids within 2 weeks of each other.
Wow.
And through that, that's what got me to South Carolina. So going through that, all of that, I realized if I can get through this by myself, there's nothing in this world I can't get through by myself. So it will either make you or break you. So I knew I had to, my other kids depended on me. I had to get up and make something happen. So my mother and father was living here, pastoring here. And my mom got put in the hospital in SICU with pancreatic cancer. And so my dad said, I need you kids here. And so I came here, and he said, what will it take you to stay here? I said, I need a job. He had me a job that Monday, working for him. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So I was making my own money, something I had never done. Whole new life, whole new start. But then moving from a military base to a country town.
That's an adjustment.
Of Darlington, South Carolina.
Welcome.
D-town.
Yeah.
It took on a whole new twist. My kids were not accepted the way we were back home. People looked at us crazy everywhere we went, strangers constantly looking. I didn't even want to begin to date because I didn't want to have to explain.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, you got, did you adopt?
How do you explain?
Yeah. And
why should you have to
right,
explain?
30 years ago, coming in Darlington, South Carolina, with biracial children, was a no. So shortly after that, I met my new husband of 26 years, but he was new to me. And the one thing about him was he never questioned the nationality of my kids. He never questioned anything. And he just kept trying to date me, and I was like, what do you want?
Yeah, what's up with you?
Yeah, what's your motive? What do you want? What do you think? This is an easy ride? What? You feel sorry for me? You have pity on me? We don't need your pity. So the first date we went on, he tried paying for the food. And I said, no, I got it.
are you the first date with just you and him, or with the kids
No,
as well?
I wouldn't let him.
Oh, you let him?
I would not let him around my kids. And I would
No,
not.
not that.
Yeah,
you,
I would
you
not.
wanted to pay for your own meal.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Because I didn't want to owe you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No man was ever going to hold that over my head again.
Yeah. Yeah, because your past experience.
Right. No. I got it.
Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. So your new husband, you all been married for 26 years now?
26 years.
So your new husband is Caucasian.
Correct.
And for the viewers out there, the first husband was black.
Mm-hmm.
Your now husband is Caucasian. Now, y'all have 3 biological kids.
Correct.
What has that experience been like?
It's been tough. We both lost family over us being together. He doesn't have much family, so his wasn't too bad. But he had some aunt and uncle that had a beach house down at Myrtle Beach, and we would stay in that trailer. And when they found out that my kids were biracial, they called him up and said,
No more.
"No, you can't. Your girlfriend and kids can't come."
Wow.
So of course my husband ended up having words, and I don't think he's ever spoken to him again.
Yeah.
Actually, he hasn't spoken to him again.
So you see a lot of that. You see a lot of that
Yeah.
mistreatment because
Absolutely.
of the color of their skin.
Absolutely. As long as people think that we have adopted them,
It's okay.
it's okay. But then when they find out that I
Actually.
gave birth to them,
Mm.
and here my husband is white,
That's when your children, they're now baggage.
right, and I'm baggage.
Mhm.
And he is the hero and the savior for taking in this white bag of trash with all her baggage,
Mm.
with these little black kids.
Mm.
And not only does she have these little black kids, but now she's got grandkids.
Right.
And you're giving them everything, and that should be, she just married you for your money. She just married you for this. She just married you
Right.
for that. It can't possibly be that we're in love.
And how old were your kids when
My
he came
oldest
into your
daughter
life?
was 5. I have stair
So
steps.
that's dad.
They call
That's
him Dad.
Dad.
They call their biological father Greg.
Great.
Greg.
Oh, by the first name.
Mm-hmm. So, because Dad has been there, surgeries, ball games,
Right.
through everything,
Kids remember that.
Mhm.
through everything.
Mhm.
And he has taken up for him, taken up for us religiously.
And that speaks to the type of man he
Yes.
is.
Yeah. And that's what I said. He's wonderful and amazing, and I can't imagine myself with anybody else. But also, it's frustrating just knowing that he gets all this praise because he took me and my kids in.
Yeah.
Like he's
he's
our savior.
saved, yeah.
Yeah.
So, is it difficult teaching your kids?
Very much. Because I was not educated. And unfortunately, I never made it a point to educate myself. These are topics that we never discussed. So I wasn't able to prepare my kids for the real
Right.
world.
Yeah.
So when different things would happen, my daughter was asked to prom by a white boy, and his family came back and made him tell her she could not go to prom with him because she was black.
Mm.
I've been pulled over by the police before where they didn't want my ID. They wanted my son's ID.
Who was driving?
I was driving.
But they want your son ID.
But they want my son. Never did take my ID. Never did. Never mind, I could have not had a driver's license.
Right.
Could have been suspended. I could have had a warrant for my arrest. I could have been a fugitive on the run.
Anything.
I could have had drugs in my car. They didn't search my car. None of that. They wanted his. And it ended up giving him
Because it didn't look right.
it didn't look right.
Why is he in your car?
And speaking of not looking right, my husband took the grandkids to the local park here, Williamson Park. and took them on a nature trail walk. They love doing that. We would have a picnic, have picnic tables out there. So they would like to go to Spring Mart and get hot dogs, and then take the hot dogs and go have a picnic. They would pick out all the different leaves that were in the park because they have the little things, and you know, it's just education. It just giving them something to do.
Right.
And he happened to be there with two of the granddaughters without me one day, and a older white couple ended up calling in the police saying that a white man was in the park with two little black girls and somebody needed to get here now, as though he had no.
Because
Right,
that
like he was
because that's
kidnapping
an
them or
emergency.
Right. And then, of course, once the police got there and recognized us, you know, they had to apologize. And, you know, my husband, he took it okay, but it really weighed heavy on him, you know, because he said, to think that somebody would think of me,
Yeah.
you know, why can't they just be my grandkids?
Right.
Because just because they're a different color doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Excuse me. Just recently, we went to get our taxes done at a local business here in Darlington. And we've been going to that tax office for 25, 26 years. And as we were doing the taxes, and understand this is a place of business,
Yeah.
the lady was talking about Democrats, assuming that all black people were Democrat.
Right.
Couldn't possibly be
First,
a white
no, no.
person.
Right.
Couldn't possibly be a white person that's a Democrat. Democrats are just all black.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where she actually used the N-word and said that if the N-word would vote Trump back in, let him run a second term, that this will be great because the way the taxes are set up.
Make
now.
America great
Yeah, make
again.
America great again.
Yeah.
So, you know, those are just some of the things that we've gone through and encountered, and you know, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But on the same side, my son in the black community is labeled as White Mike. You know,
They get it both ways.
they get it both ways. They get it both ways. They're not white enough for the white folks,
Right.
but not black enough for the black folks.
And so you and your husband have children together as well.
We do not.
You do not.
We do not.
So does he have any children?
He
at all?
does not.
He does not.
My children and grandchildren are his,
Yeah.
and they have been his since they were, like I said, my oldest was
I
5. But it just tells you the type of
Oh
person
yeah,
he
I
is.
love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's awesome.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
you're fine.
So how do you teach them like Black history, and you know, is it
That's the problem. I have failed miserably. My granddaughter came home just yesterday. They were talking in history class about segregation in the schools, and it really upset her because she realized that the girls that she could identify with weren't allowed to go to the school of the color of grandma. And she asked me, Grandma, if I was your granddaughter, would you have let me go to your school? I said, honey, I would have let you go to my school whether you're my granddaughter or not. You know, we all, if you fall down and cut your leg and you bleed, your blood's the same color as my blood.
Right.
If you fall and break your arm, you hurt just like I
Right.
hurt. And then she started talking about being God's children and God being our father. He's our daddy. And that's right, Moore. And I said, we're all precious in his sight. God don't show no favoritism. Just like with a parent. I have 3 kids. I love them all in different ways, but I love them all the same. I don't have a favorite.
Yeah.
They're my kids.
Right.
Black, white, green, or purple. They could be a serial killer. I may not like what they do, but at the end of
Still
the
your
day,
kid.
that's my kid.
Right.
And I'm going to love them till the day they die, or till the day I die, and I'm going to continue to love them.
Yeah.
There's nothing my kids could ever do to make me not love them.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had to have that conversation with her, and it was hit me off guard. It was uncomfortable. But that was a moment for me that I said to myself, this is where I failed raising my own children. I have to do something about it with this generation, with my grandkids.
Right.
I have to prepare them because it's coming. Things are happening. My kids have encountered
Right.
things.
But it's so easy to do that because you can get so caught up in just living
Yeah.
that, you know, until something happens, then it's kind of like, oh,
Because a lot of black parents don't teach their kids
no,
black history.
no.
I mean,
No.
you know, so that's just, like you say, we moving so in life and not really paying attention.
Right.
You're moving and you're avoiding uncomfortable situations and you
Yeah.
avoid uncomfortable
Yeah.
conversations. You avoid stuff so much until when you're faced with it, it's like,
You don't really
Yeah.
know what to do.
you don't know what to do.
You don't know how to
Where do you start?
Tackle
What
it.
do you say?
and understand if you're uneducated on the topics.
Right.
It's funny because in the white community, you hear a lot of times, oh, your ancestors wasn't affected. If it wasn't your direct family, it wasn't your mom, your dad, your sisters, your kids, so why are you even talking about it?
Yeah.
Why does it even matter?
Right.
Y'all are inciting
Mm-hmm.
racism. Why are you doing that? That's the way the white families.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak for every white family.
You're right.
Well, what you've encountered.
But what I've encountered is we don't talk about it. That was then, this is now, move forward, get over it.
Yeah.
Move on.
Right.
No, it does happen.
Right.
It's still happening every day.
And even if it's
Every
not
day.
happening anymore, let's say we live in a perfect world and we've overcome that completely. That hurdle's far behind us. The stuff that's happened and what people have gone through with that, I feel like that's one of those things you never should stop recognizing what somebody been through. I don't care how far we've come.
Right.
You know, if it's 10 years from now and that's just completely in the past, great. But we're not going to stop
But it
talking
happened.
about it.
Yeah, but
Right.
somebody was still affected.
Somebody was still affected.
I
It was
lost
still-
my
Thank
children
you.
27 years ago. But I'm haunted every day.
Right.
There's not a day that goes by.
Right. And it's
I
not,
don't
and it's
think
not
about
gonna
that.
change.
It'll never go away. It'll never go away. Things will never be the same.
Yeah.
Because my life, I had to totally, not only did I lose my 2 children, but I lost a husband too. So my whole, and I had to pick up and relocate. So it was a total
Life shift.
life shift. And then all I'm thinking is, I left home for this, to come to this. I'm raising my children in this.
Right.
This can't be good. This can't be healthy. I'm supposed to protect them.
Right.
But instead, I feel like I'm
Exposing
putting them
them
out
more.
there and saying, huh, make it how you can.
So how are you teaching them to survive in this cruel world?
Day by day, how people treat you. You treat people the way you want to be treated. If people don't treat you with that same respect in return, they got to go. They're not your friends.
Right. Period.
Surround yourself with positive people, people that really have your back. Understand your circle may be small, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
But you hold your head high and you keep it moving, because ain't nobody better, or you know, we're equal. We're equal. There is nobody that's up here and we're down here. Never let anybody make you feel less of a person because of the color of your skin or what you wear or how you dress, how you talk, how you act. Those things. That's all I can do is just take it day by day.
Yeah.
And when those things happen, try to talk to them and figure out what we did wrong, because that's the first thing you do is, what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
Right.
What could I have done
What could I have done
different?
differently that incident wouldn't have happened? The police stopping me and my son. I couldn't have done anything different.
Right.
When I dropped my kids off in a black neighborhood and I'm questioned by the police, please state your business. Dropping my grandkids off?
Yeah. Like, you're not supposed to be in this neighborhood.
Right.
Correct. And either I'm there because I'm making a drug deal, or I'm looking for
Drugs.
You lost, ma'am?
Right.
Wow.
So it's crazy.
And you know, we can laugh about it, but it's so
But it's
real.
so real.
It's real.
It's so real.
And sad.
It is. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It actually turns my stomach. It
Mm-hmm.
sickens me because you have nothing better to do.
Right.
Nothing better to do. So don't say it doesn't exist, because it very much exists. And it's every day. It's something new every day. And you pick it. I've learned to pick and choose my battles. But understand, with my kids, what I may think is a small battle, not
Might be
worth
big
the
to them.
fight, oh no, it's huge to them. It's the principle, Mom. I can't let this go. I can't
Right.
let this go. Grandkids at school, they see their friends see white grandparents coming to the schoolhouse, and the first thing they say is, "Why is your grandparents white?
Yeah.
Those are your grandparents? How?
Why?
Why? Yeah. What?" So now it's gotten to the point where the middle schoolers are actually looking at me and Paul like, "Y'all don't have to come. Y'all don't have to
Yeah,
come."
they're at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's not
Yeah.
cool.
You're good.
What,
Yeah,
what
we're
your
good.
peers think is it's starting to matter
Yeah.
now. It's starting to
You
matter.
can drop us off down the road. You don't have to pull up the front door. Oh, come here. Give me a kiss.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Have a great day. Grandma loves you.
They'd probably be like, Grandma.
God.
They do, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. And it's not that I don't care, but I mean, I
Yeah.
want them to
Yeah.
know that What
really
people
is.
And that's
say
a
or
hurdle
think-
they'll get over. I mean,
Yeah.
it's middle school.
what people say or think.
But
doesn't
I don't
define
think it
them.
would be that. I don't think it'll be that easy though, for them to get over.
No.
You know,
Right.
because things are so.
Because it's only going to progress.
Oh yeah. And then they got their children's children.
Yeah.
You know, it's
It's
just a
going to
cycle.
continue.
It's
You
a
know?
cycle.
And my stepdaughters are biracial, and like I can tell the difference when we go in the stores.
When the girls are with you guys.
I can tell. I get the stares. I get the looks. I get
Because they're probably trying to
frowned
figure out,
upon.
well, who's kids?
Yeah, like, oh, she done been with a white man.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
oh, she's
you know?
got him fooled. Them ain't his kids.
Yeah.
All,
Yeah.
all the questions.
I know
Right.
about I know about the crazy looks, and you know what I'm saying. Like,
How do you deal with it?
I don't pay on no mind.
Right. Yeah, and there's some things that you literally have to just,
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I just keep it moving.
right. And a lot of times it's best to keep it moving because the world is so crazy.
Mhm.
And that's where picking and choosing your battles come
Right.
in. But some battles you have to face.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You have no choice. Like when dealing with law enforcement,
Right.
being pulled over because you have a black kid in your car.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has tattoos. What gang are you in?
They
What the, you know,
questioning him.
yeah.
They probably saying, I wonder did he kidnap her or something.
Well, and I've told him
Blink
before,
your eyes if
I'm
you're
his
safe.
mom.
Blink your eyes if you're safe, man.
I'm his mother. What's the problem? We're talking to him, and I've been told to stay out of it.
Yeah, they trying to really dig to see
Yeah.
what's really.
Mhm.
I don't care if he's 50. I don't care if my daughters are 50. Them are my kids, and if something's going on, I want to know about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there to protect them, make sure you're doing your job right.
Keep
I don't
you in
trust
check.
you.
Keep you in line.
Just like you don't trust him because of his color. I don't trust you because of your uniform.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen too much.
Yeah.
I've seen too much.
Well, it's definitely sad the times we live in and have to deal with the color of our skin.
Right.
You know, it's bad. We hear stories of, what our grandparents and, great-grandparents and all of them went through, but it's sad that it's 2019 and we are still
Still,
going
creating stories
through.
for our grandkids to talk about us going through.
or
absolutely.
absolutely.
And when you think about it that way, it kind of makes you sad
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it's always going to be a set of stories.
Yeah.
because it is. And no matter how hard you try to be, it affects you.
Mm-hmm.
You go to bed with that on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
A couple days later, it's still bothering you. God, I should have said this, or I should have done that, or I could have. Oh, what an idiot! What an idiot! How ignorant! How ignorant! and then you get mad at yourself because sometimes you stoop to that level. And
Right.
You're like,
Yeah.
And you hate you went
yeah.
there.
And then you
"Whoa,
think-
they took me out of my character. Why did I
Right.
do that?
Mm-hmm.
But human nature takes over. Safety mechanism, I guess. But it's just tough.
It
It's
is.
tough.
And it's sad that the kids have to go through it, you know, and for your granddaughter to you know get that history lesson at school and then come and question you about
Right.
it.
I felt
Which
like I
was-
had failed her because I felt like she should have heard it from
Right.
us.
Yeah,
She should have been prepared for that.
She should have been prepared
but don't
for that.
beat yourself up with that because a
No.
lot of us as parents don't.
Oh, yeah.
You know, take the time and not all of us, but you know,
Right.
But
don't take the time to go over that.
I want to
history.
bet there's a lot of parents who have not discussed any uncomfortable history moments. If our kids have learned about it, they learned about it at school.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we did not take the time to...
But I found myself angry.
Yeah.
And I found myself angry at the school.
Mm.
I shouldn't have been.
Right.
But human nature took over,
Right.
and it was like, why did they have that conversation with my granddaughter? Oh my God, she's not ready for that. Well, guess what? If we keep waiting until they're
Right.
ready,
There's never a right moment.
because they're encountering it now.
Mhm.
I don't care how old they are.
Right.
It's
It's
real
happening now.
Mhm.
So, and kids are tough. They have a way of handling things.
Yeah.
A lot-
Sometimes a lot better than we do.
Yeah, a lot, and they bounce back easier and
Right.
quicker. So,
Yeah, they brush it off faster than we do.
yeah, they're resilient.
Whew. Well, guys, tonight we was talking about raising black kids in a white home. Definitely take our hat off to you for
Thank you.
coming and sharing your story, and hopefully it'll get easier for you, you know, day by day. But like we said, it's going to continue, you know,
Absolutely.
from the kids to the grandkids to their kids, and it's just going to,
You just got to be prepared
yeah.
for things that are just totally out of line.
Yeah.
Things that you thought were no longer here, that are.
And always gotta have that eye, you know, like
Like you can never
You-
truly relax. You gotta
Right.
kind of always kind of
yeah, and
have
then
that guard.
and then like you said, you've been at the tax office and they use the N word,
Right.
Not knowing that your kids are knowing that your
Right.
kids are biracial,
Right.
but still using
Right.
the N
Felt
word
that it
like
was
it's
okay.
something that they should be talking at home.
Right,
Kitchen
not in
table
a
talk,
place
not-
of business where I'm
Right.
paying you my money.
Right.
So I can choose not to pay you.
And how many black people are sitting down at your table and you doing their taxes?
You're doing their taxes.
But you calling us N word.
Right. We're good enough for you to take our money,
Right.
But, then
but
when
we're
we
not
leave,
good
it's
enough.
A different story.
Right. We have a smell to us.
Right.
And I'm worse than you.
Yeah.
I'm worse than you.
It's
And
sad.
Kevin's the savior. My
Right.
husband's the savior.
He saved you.
Yeah.
And
I'm
your
the-
little black
and,
babies.
and my black babies. Yeah.
Man.
2019. We should be
Darlington,
woken
South
up.
Carolina.
Right. In the South. Whew. Well, Miss Debbie, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming to the table and sharing your story. Hopefully you'll be back.
I'd love to be back.
Please.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Please come back anytime. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for Tangy Tea of Life. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave comments below. If you would like to be a guest on Tangy Tea of Life, go to our email, tangyteaoflife@gmail.com, and leave all of your information there, and we will get back to you. All right, guys? See you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Was that okay?
It really was. It really was.
Thank you so much.
It's just talking though. Just